Hello and welcome to GreenFleet Talks. My name's Kate Armitage and I'm your host for our discussion today. And I'm delighted to be joined once again by Alison Argall, Business Development Director at Tusker. Hi, Alison.
Hi, Kate. Lovely to see you again.
Yeah,
Happy New Year, I should say.
It is a happy new year, and we didn't. It wasn't that long ago since we spoke, actually. So it's nice to see you again, Alison. Today, you won't be surprised to know we're going to be talking about salary sacrifice, and what I really want to just highlight is what a runaway success salary sacrifice has become, and what makes Tusker stand out from the crowd. So I did a quick Google search before we spoke, and what I heard was that the salary sacrifice market grew 40% last year, according to the BVRLA, and that 91% of all vehicles registered under salary sacrifice are pure electric. So, I honestly just think we should cut to the chase and call this EV salary sacrifice, and do away with the petrol and diesel. But it will come, I know.
It will.
It will come.
It's just about a bit of transition still for that tail end around inclusivity. I think most employers are still conscious that there is a price point differentiation, quite significant, when you're looking at a pure battery electric vehicle versus its petrol counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
I would say diesel doesn't really feature, if I'm honest, but those little entry level vehicles for the lower paid earners, even if they are not pure electric, they're still green cars compared especially to what maybe they've been driving currently.
Absolutely.
So we are seeing, without a doubt, first and foremost, most people are choosing an EV, and achieving all the wonderful benefits that are available in transforming across to that new technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about the benefits, this is a two-sided coin, isn't it? Because you've got the benefits to the employee. You've kind of already touched on, the affordability of this scheme, and the fact that it is a great way to access an electric vehicle. There's also benefits to the employer.
Correct, absolutely. I mean, most employers looking at this are kind of really looking at around providing a big ticket benefit for their employees, around helping them both financially and that financial well-being around something goes wrong with a car, not a problem. It's all included. They've got all of the access to be able to help them through that, but within a fixed monthly cost. So from that perspective, I think there is that financial well-being, but also attracting talent, retaining talent. And then there is the CSR, ESR agenda, which I know we've touched on before, is a genuine target, and organisations, across the board are looking for tangible evidence about how they are reducing their carbon footprint.
Yeah, and for some of the larger organisations, this is actually going to become quite tangible, because at some point GreenFleet will creep up into that scope 3 emissions, and you have to be able to demonstrate that you've taken steps to reduce that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's quite a forward-thinking benefit for employers, indeed.
It is, and it's amazing. We've been doing this now for 13 years, and you're absolutely right, Kate. The appetite since the government, launched their Road to Zero strategy has, without a doubt, done everything they wanted it to do, which is to make low emission and ultimately emission-free vehicles from a tailpipe perspective, readily available to help push that forward. I mean, Our fleet in the last during 2023 literally doubled, which is where we've seen this incredible engagement. Went from 20,000 vehicles to 40,000.
Wow.
I know,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So real tangible, and with that, 85% of those vehicles that are being taken are battery electric vehicles.
Which is fantastic. It really is, Ali. And if we go back to 13 years ago, I'm going to say that probably virtually no battery electric vehicles, maybe some mild hybrid.
I mean, you're probably talking about the i8, maybe, sort of 2008, and incredibly expensive. There was always that premium, and of course the government, even going back in, I think 2010, were incentivizing EVs at that point. And then of course we had that turbulent journey up to sort of 2016, 2017. But we've seen this over the 13 years. We know, I think we've touched on this before, again, is with the affordability side of it. Once those sort of low P11D value city cars come in and available, that inclusivity will absolutely will erode the need for any petrol vehicles ultimately.
I mean, genuinely, there aren't many businesses or examples that have gone through such an enormous transformation. If someone had said to you 13 years ago that by 2024, 85% of the vehicles in your fleet, which will have doubled in size, will be pure battery electric, you probably would have thought, that's unachievable.
Probably, a dream. But I mean, this is, with that government support and ultimately hitting that 2035 deadline, these are the things that make it current, and the quicker people engage with that new technology, all those benefits fall through in line.
Yeah, that's a good point as well, because obviously the benefit in kind is a big part of this. That runs out. We now know that runs till 2028. But if you really do want to get the full benefit of driving a battery electric vehicle under the salary sacrifice scheme, the time to switch is now, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we've got that lovely, sort of clear line of sight to continue to really promote the benefits of doing that green driving.
Yeah. Now, Ali, once you've got your lucky employee into their battery electric vehicle, what's the feedback that you're getting? Well, what's the satisfaction from the employees that have taken this? It used to be a leap of faith. It's probably like the norm now, but.
Well, it isn't the norm by any means. I think there's still, without a doubt, a sort of reticence to, is somebody ready? And I mean, we've pulled together on our online portal lots of tools for employees to hopefully make considered decisions, which include whether or not they can charge from home, they're suitable for a home charge point, what the infrastructure around them looks like. So partnering with that, they can go in and look at that. So you would think that people can make informed decisions, but there is that nervousness about actually those longer journeys, and unfortunately the cost of charging on the road is so extremely variable. There are lots of things that can interfere with sort of what looks like the perfect transition, but in reality, actually 91% of our EV drivers show that they're satisfied. Some amazing case studies and testimonials from drivers around that transition and what it's meant for them. And I think the proof of the pudding is always when somebody comes to renew after the 2, 3, or 4 year arrangement. And actually out of the renewal pool that we looked at for 2023, where we surveyed drivers, 90% renewed from battery electric. back into battery electric.
Another battery,
And
yeah.
actually with that, there was a small pool of those that, well, about 6% of those actually went into a plug-in, I think, but still wanted that electric technology, but not necessarily the pure EV. So I think that, statistically is really impressive.
It is. It absolutely is. And long may it continue. We've just got to persuade the other 9%, to or address the challenges that they've had, which means they're slightly less satisfied. And of course, I'm expecting, Alison, that in 3 years' time, the vast majority of your portfolio will be renewers, not people switching across for the first time.
Absolutely, exactly that. When you think if it's, the 85% there already around that transition. So no, hopefully just a case of continuing to work with more organisations and really seeing that sort of flow around those statistics.
Yeah. And the organisations that you are working with, do you find that you have to adapt the scheme to accommodate the needs of different businesses?
Yeah, we recognise that probably no one organisation is exactly the same. So, working with key stakeholders across different sectors. So, of course, we do a huge amount of work in public sector still. They'd be have different needs potentially than if you were dealing with, a large bank or financial institution around the demographics. So, we do very much. We have a tried and tested implementation plan, but the actual structure of the scheme can be tailored. So we see a lot of organisations come to us initially with got to be electric and electric only, and then actually once they're sort of going through who's eligible, who isn't eligible, that's when they might allow that tail end to take in some fossil fuel vehicles or plug-in vehicles. So really, I think they're confident with our experience that the majority of people are going to go electric, but actually not to, as I say, put people off where, all the other benefits stack up for them. And still probably drive in a lower CO2 emission vehicle. We saw this quite a lot with the widening of the ULEZ zone as that sort of took that out to the M25, and clearly looking at people trying to make sure that they're coming into vehicles that don't that will make them
compliant.
Thank you. That is the word I was looking for. So that was a real case of looking at those demographics. We did this with Heathrow, where their employee pool is very much sort of within that commute. So for them, it was really important to be able to include them in the scheme as an attractive benefit, but ultimately to make sure that they were not going to be further penalised coming to work.
Very, very interesting. And we'll see that happening, of course, in more towns and cities.
We will.
Across the country, because I think Birmingham is another example.
Absolutely.
So coming to a city near you soon, so don't be complacent. Now, Alison, just to round up, it would be remiss of me not to ask, what are your plans for this year?
So our plans for this year are absolutely around building on all that we've learned across these last 13 years of doing the salary sacrifice scheme. Well, actually more than that, 16 years. I'm making this up as I go along. And really making sure that we continue to innovate. I think this is innovate and educate. Those are the sort of probably the two key takeaways for us, is to keep making the scheme as sort of forward-thinking, inclusive as possible, help with the technology side of it so that we continue, say, that education process to people make properly informed decisions, know what they're coming into, see the benefits, and have that real window of opportunity, as we say. Hopefully not just 2028, because 2035 is a lot longer after that. But I think ultimately we can only manage what we can see today.
Yep. Well, Alison, I have to say, it's a pleasure hearing you talking about inclusivity, because it is very important.
It is.
But innovation and education also important. So great agenda for 2024. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you
always with you.
Today. Yeah, great. Thank you. That is about all we've got time for. So thank you to Tusker for joining GreenFleet Talks, and thank you for watching. Please tune in again soon.